Hi, welcome to the first video for my PWS YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be discussing the event that everyone is talking about in MMA at least, Michael Chandler versus Eddie Alvarez. Now before I get to the fight, the one thing that's been bugging me a lot lately is everyone's been saying that it was some kind of robbery, that Chandler won convincingly over Alvarez, and although Chandler could have won the fight, it definitely wasn't so one-sided that the refs or the judges screwed it up in making the decision they did. One of the first thing MMA fighters are taught is that you should never leave it in the hands of the judges. And Chandler did that, and he lost his title. It's really just it's really just that simple. I had it booked for Alvarez to win rounds 2, 3, and 5. Just based on how he controlled the fight in those rounds, did more damage, had more control in the cage, and I had Chandler winning rounds 1 and 4, which comes down to exactly how 2 out of the 3 judges scored the fight. But when I go online and I hear all these people saying, "Oh, it was a robbery, Chandler got screwed," MMA fans really need to learn what exactly a robbery is. Go watch Riki Fukada versus Nick the Promise Ring. That was a robbery. I'm a huge Nick Ring fan, but there is no way in hell he deserved to win that fight. And see, that is what MMA fans should be calling a robbery. Not a fight that's close and, they're not happy that their fighter won. Like, look at Jones and Gustafsson. That was a close fight, but Jones did enough to win 3 rounds, and that's all you need to do to defend the title. And some other comments I was reading were about, if you're the champion, you need to lose convincingly to lose your title. How does that make any sense at all? If you lose the fight, you lose the fight. It doesn't matter if it's by knockout, submission, unanimous decision, split decision, majority decision. If the judges decide that you lose the fight, you lose the fight. It doesn't matter how far, if it was a bloodbath or if it was a war. And that's what Bellator main event was. I'm betting somewhere Tito Ortiz is very happy that he dropped out of that fight, because there is no way that he could have possibly beaten that. It would have just been a disappointment. And now Rampage gets the Mexicutioner, Joey Beltran, on November 15th, which, isn't as marquee of a fight, but, he isn't no slouch either. But I would suspect that Rampage wins that fight fairly convincingly. Another thing I noticed after the fight was Dana White, of course, had to take his shot at Bjorn Rebney. Same thing, Rebney takes any shot he can at the UFC. Like today, Rebney goes and says that there won't be a second, he doesn't think there'll be a second Fight Master because the ratings weren't that great for the first one, and compared it to how bad the ratings are for The Ultimate Fighter. Now, this year, The Ultimate Fighter is completely different than what it's ever been before, with women in the house. So, I'm not one of those people that think that The Ultimate Fighter is dead, but I hope they come back with, if any of you remember The Ultimate Fighter Season 4, they had the comebacks. Guys who had been in the UFC and lost. We got Matt Serra, Travis Lutter, Patrick Cote, and I thought that was a great season. So I hope that they come back with something like that to try and bring the viewers back in. But back on topic with Bellator, people are comparing WWE and TNA. Is the same difference between the UFC and Bellator, which, in some cases it's true. WWE and UFC both own their respective fields, but Bellator shouldn't be taken as lightly as it is. They have a lot of good fighters, and now with with Alvarez winning the title, we're going to get Chandler versus Alvarez 3. And I know if I was Rebney, I would be praying that Chandler destroys Alvarez, because if he doesn't, Alvarez has the option to leave with the title. Like, he would vacate it, but still, he would be the champion leaving the organization. That is all for today's video. I'm hoping to continue doing these as much as the need is there, and as long as my kids allow me. Make sure to like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/pro-wrestling-scoops-forum, all one word. And follow us on Twitter at Real PWS Forums. Thank you. Any comments, feedback, negatives, positives, that would be great. This is my first attempt, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.